The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra and Kumasi. We are on Love 99.5 FM. Affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. We are on Gangai FM in Jirapa, Bedering FM in Bunkrugu, Radio Somali in Wa, KTU Radio in Kofredia, and Amenuveve FM in Apawu. We are live on X Spaces. We are on Facebook. We are on myjoyonline.com. The Midday News is sponsored by Petrol Sol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrol Sol is always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duraplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDPE pipes and water tank. We are the only water storage tank with a level indicator. Where Duraplus goes, water flows. In this edition, anger, grief and fear grips residents of Jirapa after murder of Eric Johnson, business mogul and CEO of Royal Cozy Hill Hotel, also known as Jirapa Dubai.
Some of them wish that they have known this unknown assailant. They will have dealt with him, pointed that this is somebody who came to develop our area. And it really increased commercial activities in this area. For one person to stab them in the back, they are not really happy about the situation.
Already 5 of his workers have been picked up to aid investigations as a team of investigators and experts led by the Director General of CID moved to the region.
The IGP has dispatched a team of crack CIDs, including the Director General of CID, to come into the region.
I'll take you live to the area also this afternoon.
Puerile, vicious and violent attacks on journalists. This has resulted in the equally unilateral decision of the GJA in calling for a boycott or blackout. Whilst the approach is popular, it is dysfunctional.
In the face of harsh criticisms by the National Media Commission, journalists and the Media Foundation West Africa rally strongly behind the Ghana Journalists Association's blacklist of politicians.
I'm utterly shocked that no other person came here to use our platform to chastise us than the NMC chair.
That is why perhaps we've gotten to a point where they've run down the National Media Commission to a point where no one respects it anymore.
I support the actions that they are taking to blacklist certain politicians.
We have details of that. Also, government takes on former President Mahama and Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, who have claimed the state has abandoned victims of the floods caused by the spillage of the Akonsombo Dam, outlining specific measures to resettle victims.
Who has abandoned them?
That is a claim by Okudzeto Ablakwa and his party, the NDC.
That's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate for anybody to say that the government has not responded to the needs of the people. It's rather unfortunate. Everybody knows what we have done. I was there on Wednesday.
We have details of some of the victims still living in tents braced for the rains, which they say will make their lives even more uncomfortable.
We need proper structure. The tent, if you enter in the morning, you feel comfortable. But during the afternoon, there's so much heat, so you can't even stay in it. Yes, and even if it rained, last time it rained, the whole place was so disorganized.
And their sports.
Ivory Coast weathered the storm to win the 2023 AFCON title and break the 18-year host and win tournament curse.
And President Akufo-Addo describes as unfortunate former President Mahama's comment on the authenticity of the recent West Africa Senior School Certificate Examination results.
You go to places and the teachers are conniving with the children to cheat.
Students of Wesley Girls High School, Wegehe Girls, do you cheat in examinations?
We have that and more in this afternoon's edition of the Midday News. I am Emefa. Apawu, this is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Please do stay on for details. Many thanks for your company, and it's a mixture of anger, grief and fear. At the same time in Jirapa this afternoon, as some residents come to terms with the gruesome murder of Eric Johnson, a business mogul and CEO of Royal Cozy Hills Hotel known as Jirapa Dubai. According to reports, the murder was committed in Mr. Johnson's private residence, which is also on the same property as the hotel. 5 persons have so far been picked up by the police in connection with the incident. We'll soon get to hear from the police on the suspects, but first, listen to Rafiq Salam narrate what he saw when he visited the Royal Cozy Hill Hotel.
It's alleged that the unknown assailant got into the compound of the private residence of Eric Johnson using a ladder from the back of the house. And so, aided by the ladder, he jumped into the compound and then got into the hall of the private residence of Eric Johnson. And then after, he's alleged to have used a master key to open the room of Eric Johnson, met him somehow wearing a towel, believed that he may have come from the bathroom. And so looked at his body saw a lot of wounds around his abdomen, around his chest, and also cheeks. That clearly means that these were marks of assault, and then it's indicating that he was allegedly stabbed by this unknown assailant. And then after that, this unknown assailant picked the push key of the car of Eric Johnson, and then drove the car, go to the main gate, and then honk for his security man to open it to go out. And he finally left the car at the middle of town and went away. So these are the snippets of information that we have gotten from the area. And then also yesterday, I want to go to the Royal Coastal Hills Hotel to speak to workers of the hotel to see what was really happening. All the workers that we attempted to speak to, all of them were muted. They were tight-lipped. They told us that they didn't know anything about what was happening at the place. We tried to put it to them that whether they are aware that their boss is allegedly being killed. They said no, we are not aware of any other thing. And so we also went our own ways, and then we were able to get into the compound of the executive mansion, and that was where we met the police and met some workers, management members of the hotel there with the police. And after that, the lifeless body of Eric was moved to the Apawu Regional Hospital, Hamburg, and that was where he was deposited for further investigation.
Well, my colleague Rafiq Salam joins us on the line with more on what's happening as we speak. Now, Rafiq, you've been interacting with residents who are visibly angry. What have they been telling you, and what's the mood there now, you'd say?
The residents actually are not really happy about what transpired on Sunday because they believe that Eric Johnson is a philanthropic extraordinaire who came to develop the area. And so for them, they think that the alleged servant of Eric by unknown assailant is really not a stop on only Eric alone, but the entire Girepa and also the Apawu region at large.
Well, you've been interacting with some family members. I know you know him very closely. They must be devastated. What have they been saying?
The family members are really in shock. They are shocked to the marrow about what transpired. I tried to speak to the Girepa chief, Justice John Lebong. For him, he was really in tears, and I'm wondering what's really happening to the Girepa state. And so people are really angered, and then also not happy about the way things have spun out in the area, and the way that it never happened.
Well, already we heard reports about this particular gruesome murder may have been linked to some chieftaincy dispute amongst others. What exactly have you been picking up when it comes to this particular incident?
For all, I think that we should leave this for the security forces to investigate, because we have also heard about some of these things that are transpired on the Girepa chieftaincy dispute. And then also, but you see, from the look of it, people are also looking at it from different angles, that the person who may have perpetrated his act acted professionally. He executed his plan very well, and it could be somebody who knew Eric and knows as well about, you know, Eric personally, and you know that Eric doesn't joke with his personal security. So it's up to the security forces who are really investigating to look into the matter to unravel the mystery surrounding the death of this great man from the area.
Now, Rafiq, we know that the National Police Service mentioned that they were deploying men, including the Director General of CID. Have they arrived, and what exactly is being done by the regional police as well?
As I speak to now, they arrived in the region about an hour ago, and they moved to Girepa to continue the investigation that was started yesterday. So, as I talk to you now, they are at Girepa, they have started their investigation.
That's my colleague Rafiq Salam there, our regional correspondent, giving us update on this particular incident. And we earlier mentioned that the police have picked up 5 persons. Joining me in the studio is my colleague Hannah Odame, giving us details of what the police statement says. Hannah, who are these persons who have been picked up?
Emefa, this information that was posted on the police Facebook page about 15 hours ago mentions Dokuri Foster, who we are told is the personal cook, Brahima Kasim, the head of security, Bayo Felix, who was a security officer, and Michael Kluge, who manages all the businesses of the late Mr. Johnson, including the Cozy Hotel, as well as Kambata Kweku. He was the first person who was arrested. All of these, the 5 of them, are in police custody, assisting with investigations.
Well, Joy News will bring you updates on this developing story on all our platforms, and there's more on myjoyonline.com. Moving away from it, despite facing severe criticism from the National Media Commission, journalists and Media Foundation for West Africa have thrown their support behind the GJA's bold decision to blacklist politicians who have attacked members of the press. The association declared a blackout on MP for Ewutu Senya Ace, Mavis Hawakumsin, and then MP for Yendi, Farouk Aliu Mahama, both accused in the assault of Cape FM and City TV journalists in the heat of the NPP's parliamentary primaries. But the NMC chairman, Yaobwedua Yeboafo, criticized the decision, saying the association could have used other avenues to address the situation.
Let me turn my attention to the recent puerile, vicious, and violent attacks on journalists for exercising their primary obligation of informing our people. This has resulted in the equally unilateral decision of the GJA in calling for a boycott or blackout on such people. Whilst the approach is popular, it is dysfunctional. I still hold the position that whilst it is disheartening for journalists to be attacked violently, the unilateral resolve to black out or boycott is not the most productive reaction. We cannot fight impunity with impunity.
But in a sharp rebuttal, GJA President Albert Jumfo defended his decision, saying it was the right move to curb attacks on the media.
In every extraordinary situations, we take extraordinary decisions. We see this situation, the media finds itself as abnormal. And that in abnormal situations, you don't need dysfunctional or functional mind to treat abnormal situations. You deal with it abnormally. And that is the position with GG. And I am surprised that, I'm heartily shocked that no other person came here to use our platform to chastise us than the NMC chair. He is a senior journalist and a veteran. He didn't take his time to even ascertain from us what even informed the position. He hasn't communicated to us. And you just come here and tell us that it is just populist and it's dysfunctional. We expected him to tell us the functional measures and the functional ways we could solve this. He couldn't give us functional ways and he has run away.
Well, Mr. Jumfo's position has garnered support from members of the media fraternity, including those who have themselves been attacked. Emmanuel Ante, formerly of the Multimedia Group and editor of the Modern Ghana newspaper, Emmanuel Abugri, both support the move.
How is it unproductive? How? This is rather to try to bring certain people who try to put journalists in harm's way in line, so that they will think twice when they are about to act or do something that might jeopardize the security of the journalist. You're just going to do your job. You are trying to report what is happening, and then somebody pounds on you and beats you mercilessly to the extent that you have a scar for life, and then somebody else will see or will sit somewhere and say that, oh, this is unproductive.
It is usually done to send a particular message to the people out there that, look, if you attack journalists, we'll come after you. And I believe that it is about time that we take some serious actions against such people now.
Well, thankfully, we've been joined on the phone by the Media Foundation for West Africa Executive Secretary Suleimana Brahima. Thank you so much for your time here on the Midday News. So you've been listening to the justification of the NMC on the steps taken by the GJA. For them, it's unproductive. But the GJA is defending this particular issue. But really, blacklisting politicians and individuals who attack journalists, is that the way to go?
Well, I think that whatever it is to send a signal to state and non-state actors about the safety of journalists is worth pursuing. We've gotten to a point where all arsenals must be deployed. Over the course of time, different actions have been taken. Petitions have been written. Statements have been issued. Appeals have been made. In fact, in some cases, legal remedies have been sought. And yet, we see a trend where there is an increasing rate of attacks on journalists. Our press freedom status is declining. And of course, if you are in a country where, press freedom used to be one of your bright stars, and suddenly it is something that is going down, it sends a strong signal about the deterioration of the country's democracy. And to that extent, I would have expected an institution like the National Media Commission to strongly back the action by the GJA to ensure that that strong signal is sent to whether it's a politician or a non-politician whose activities result in the abuse of a journalist.
Well, the issue about sustainability and whether it is deterrent enough is the concern also.
Well, whether it is sustainable or not depends on you. And when I say you, I mean you journalists and you media organizations. The GJA is an association. The GJA is not a media organization. It's not a newsroom. And the GJA is saying that those of you who are on the front lines, you are being beaten, you are being attacked, and that is not the right way to go. And the action they are taking is to say, look, these are politicians. They need your coverage. They need you to send their messages out there. We don't think that these are people that you should cover. It is up to the media and up to the journalists to say that, yes, we agree with the GJA. We don't think that it is right for our people to be beaten by these politicians. And therefore, yes, we don't want to have anything to do with them until they take actions that would showcase the fact that they regret what happened. And going forward into the future, nothing like that would happen. And then by that action, sending a signal to peers that, look, the way to go is not to beat up a journalist when you disagree with whatever they are doing. So whether it is sustainable or not would depend on you, the journalist, and you media organizations.
Well,
because I have said time and again that one of the weakest links in advocacy for press freedom is the inaction of the same media organizations and journalists that organizations are working to defend.
That said, you must be surprised at the stance taken by the NMC chairman, Yabwedu Ayabuafo, a man we consider as one of us.
Absolutely. I feel it's, not that I feel, it's actually a very, very unfortunate statement. It ought not to have come from someone like Mr. Yabwedu Ayabuafo, who has been a journalist, who has been an editor, who has been a leader at the GJA before, and has before now been the executive secretary of the National Media Commission. And he is a lawyer. He knows what the Constitution says about press freedom. And he knows how our standards of press freedom have been deteriorating over time. And in fact, it is during his tenure as chairperson of the National Media Commission that things have gotten worse. And people then would say, is the NMC not acting because the government of the day is the one that appointed him to represent the president on the National Media Commission? And that is the question that people are beginning to raise. That is it because he's a representative of the president and got elected by his peers as the chair, and therefore he would not be happy with actions that sort of are against persons in the party of the president, as in the case of Howard Kumsten and Farouk Mahama. I think that Mr. Yabwedu Ayabuafo, my advice to him is, if he wouldn't lead the NMC in a way that will give us results, he shouldn't be impeding actions by other organizations to try and do what the NMC must be doing, which it is not doing.
We are grateful for your time. That's Suleimana Brahima, Executive Secretary of the Media Foundation for West Africa. Now, government has described as unfortunate claims by former President John Mahama and North Tongu MP Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa that victims of the flooding caused by the spillage of the Akonsombo Dam have been abandoned. This is even though more than 10,000 victims in North Tongu alone are still living in tents left to the mercy of the weather as donations from the public dwindle. We'll hear from Regional Minister Dr. Archibald Lecha, but first listen to a NADMO rep at one of the camps, Gloria Domcho, explaining the struggles of the victims still living in tents.
The main challenge we have now is accommodation. Like, we need proper structure. The tent, if you enter in the morning, you feel comfortable, but during the afternoon there's so much heat, so you can't even stay in it. Yes, and even if it rained, last time it rained, the whole place was so disorganized.
In terms of support, do you still get people coming in to offer support, food items and all the things that you guys need here?
Yes, by the help of the traditional authority, NADMO, VRA, and the Muslim community.
Well, so that's a Gloria Dom Choice, a NADMO rep there. And the chiefs in the area are furious about what they say is a slow pace of action to resettle and compensate victims. Togbe Kwesi Nego, the 6th, is Manklado for Mefe, and Togbe Patamia Jekle, the 7th.
Because we heard that VRA supported NADMO with some amount of money to take care of all of us. But we have not seen any action up to now. We are calling on them to do the right thing, to form an interministerial committee. They will look into our situations and come and help us. As at now, as I speak today, from the time the president came here till now, the interministerial committee have not been on the ground. How would they be able to help us if they don't come to hear our challenges?
Volta Regional House of Chiefs is calling on government and VRA for a complete resettlement of the impacted communities that have suffered as a result of what VRA did to us.
Well, my colleague Kweku Asante was in Mefe over the weekend. He's joined me in the studio. Welcome back from Mefe, Kweku. Now, briefly, what's the state of these tents that the victims are still living in Ute?
Well, a lot of these tents have been completely worn out. There are so many of them that are still leaking, and that is why the residents are really concerned that with the onset of the rainy season, which you expect to be in the coming weeks, they are going to really struggle. And former President John Mahama, who has been there, is clearly not happy with what he says is the willful neglect of government against the consent that have been expressed by these victims.
This disaster occurred in September last year, precisely September 15. And we're in February 2024, nearly 5 clear months after the disaster began. And clearly, government does not empathize with the plight of the people. 5 months of governmental neglect offends the directive principles of state policy. When the president visited, he meant it when he said that he was only here because of the oath he swore as president and not because the people of this area vote for him.
Meanwhile, Volta Regional Minister Dr. Archibald Lecha is fighting back. He insists the only thing outstanding for the government to build are resettlement homes for victims and is to secure land. They currently have a committee working on that.
Who has abandoned them?
That is a claim by Okudzeto Ablakwa and his party, the NDC.
That who has abandoned them?
That your government, the interministerial committee, they specifically mentioned the president and the vice president. They say you have not come to the aid of these persons.
That's just unfortunate. It's unfortunate for anybody to say that the government has not responded to the needs of the people. Is rather unfortunate. Everybody knows what we have done. I was there on Wednesday, and I went around with the Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa in the D. We're getting to the stage where government has voted money for resettlement. We've also agreed that in the central town we're going to have 3 settlements, and in the north town we are going to have 6 or 7 settlements. And the DCs are now liaising with the chiefs. We set up a committee last week and gave the committee a week to come out with the identification of the sites for the resettlement.
Dr. Archibald Lecha is the Volta Regional Minister, taking us on a quick break here on the Midday News, live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra. In Kumasi, we are on Love 99.5 FM. We are live on X Spaces. We are on Facebook here on myjoyonline.com and affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. The Midday News is sponsored by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Also brought to you by Duraplus Ghana Limited, where Duraplus goes, water flows, anger, grief and fear grips residents of Jirapa after murder of Eric Johnson, business mogul and CEO of Royal Cozy Hill Hotel known as Jirapa Dubai. We are told in the last few minutes also 2 more workers have been picked up, bringing the number to 7 workers to aid investigations. We return from the break with sport, and then President Akufo-Addo describes as unfortunate former President Mahama's comment on the authenticity of the recent WASI results.
You go to places and the teachers are conniving with the children to cheat.
Students of Wesley Girls High School, Wege Girls. Do you cheat in examinations?
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a Petrosol station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
GoTV is stepping up your entertainment from the 15th of January at no extra cost to you. If you are on GoTV Value, upgrade to GoTV Plus to watch GoTV Max. Already on GoTV Plus? Upgrade to GoTV Max to enjoy GoTV Super. And if you are on GoTV Max, upgrade to GoTV Super to enjoy the best of the best on GoTV Super Plus. Don't wait. Step up your entertainment today. It's on us. GoTV. Love it. T's and C's apply.
This is the Midday News. Time for sports. Mubarak.
Yes, Emefa. And so after 52 matches featuring 24 nations at the AFCON, it was Ivory Coast who emerged victorious, claiming their third title after defeating Nigeria 2-1 in the final. The Elephants became the first nation to host and win the tournament since Egypt did so in 2006. But their journey was bumpy because the host nation narrowly advanced to the knockout stages by virtue of being one of the 4 best third-place teams. Now, their midfielder Seko Fofana sheds light on the team's remarkable turnaround.
Sometimes God makes some situation to show you need to change something, to work very hard, and we do this. We come back more strong with some spirit, because every game we start, we are losing 1-0, or we lose some player, but we trust every time because we have also the support of people, and today we are very happy because we show we are the best team. And we work about this team because they are very good player, with a strong team, and today we are very happy about the success. Every game was not easy, and we are very happy about the success, and I hope everybody gonna enjoy it.
That's Seko Fofana, the midfielder of Ivory Coast. And we have to ask ourselves, when will be Ghana's time?
It will come one day. Thank you very much, Mubarak. Now, President Akufo-Addo has described as unfortunate comments by former President John Mahama questioning the authenticity of a recent West Africa Senior School Certificate Examination results. According to him, some invigilators relax on the job as teachers aid students in answering questions. This comes after the Education Minister, Dr. Yawo Seyeduchum, announced that this year's result is the best since 2015.
You go to places and the teachers are conniving with the children to cheat. The effect of this will be seen later. Because you certify these children, you say he's of this standard, either basic BECE or SSCE, and that child will use that certificate, go abroad to a school, and they'll find that in Ghana your qualification is not up to what you say it is. It is going to affect this nation.
But addressing the 187th Speech and Prize-Giving Day at the Wesley Girls High School in Cape Coast, President Akufo-Addo says the criticism lacks merit.
Contrary to the normal experience, wider access and improved quality have gone hand in hand. Long may this continue. It is a pity, though, that the sad nature of aspects of contemporary Ghanaian politics drove some otherwise allegedly responsible people, including a former president and perennial presidential candidate, to question the integrity of the results, happily, without any foundation, and attribute these results to cheating. Students of Wesley Girls High School, Wegehe girls, do you cheat in examinations? I'm sure this loud no will send a strong message to those who express this unfortunate, misguided sentiment.
President Akufo-Addo over the weekend takes me to M&J. Do you cheat in examinations?
Oh, me? I think Masol should answer that.
He's writing exams now.
Yeah.
What's happening on social media? It looks like everywhere is quiet now.
Cookathon is trending, but not for the Cookathon that you know. Cookathon Reloaded. Nigerians are being cooked on social media.
Hey, seriously,
Emefa. So, apparently people are saying that Nigerians thought the AFCON was Afrobeat. But it's not Afrobeat.
No Grammys, no electricity.
Yes.
No AFCON.
Yeah, so people Kumasi, someone says that Kalije says Hildabasi used 4 days to cook jollof. Ghanaians will use 2 years to cook Nigerians. So you are still cooking them. In fact, it's like an agenda. But then along that, NFL is also trending.
Yeah.
They about a month ago they released the 15 minutes teaser of the Super Bowl, and now they are back with the full ad. And Ghanaians are jubilating for the fact that we have Ghana itself featured in the ad. So let's listen to what the players have to say.
It's always a dream of mine as a kid to come to Africa. Why wouldn't I agree to be in this commercial to travel to a place like Ghana?
I think it's important being able to tell the nuance and the textures of our own people, being able to push out.
Oh yeah. So we're in the global scenes again.
Yes.
This year is
capitalize on it. And
definitely.
Do more with it. MNJ, don't cheat in exams. Bye-bye. And that's how we end today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com.